It's a lifetime of caring.
Think back and look at the pictures, especially those that we have posted now in the cafeteria about the early history of Nazareth and our foundresses. I realized how strong their vision was, how clear their vision was for the ministry that the hospital would bring to the people in Northeast Philadelphia. This was farmland. Actually, Nazareth was built on an abandoned farm. And the sisters knew that although at that time people considered this a rather risky proposition, but the sisters knew that there were families here that were not being provided for. And that was their vision in order to best provide care for the people that we were serving and would be serving. And certainly they worked hard. A lot of it was manual labor at that time in order to get the rooms ready, to get the hospital up and running on time. And the challenges that were there certainly were different from today, but they faced challenges just as we face challenges today.
Sisters were the Sisters of the Holy Family of Nazareth, and one of the things about their story of founding the hospital I find really interesting is that they recognized a need for health care in the growing community of the Northeast, which was kind of transitioning from farmland to something more urban. And they went out and they raised all the funds themselves, and they went out and got all the learning and expertise they needed to by sending sisters to develop expertise in pharmacy, in radiology, in nursing, at other hospitals across the country. And then they brought all that expertise and the money they'd raised back here and and built this from scratch. And now it's a very vital, vibrant part of the community, and has been for 70 years. So when you think about the sisters and their vision of serving the community by bringing needed health care to it, it's amazing, and it's great that it's lasted as long as it has.
Basically, our provincial superior at that time met with the Cardinal, and they decided to open up the hospital here in the Northeast, because there was no hospitals in this area at all in 1939. And he actually indicated that this spot where the hospital is would be a good place to begin an institution. So that the foundress of this hospital then basically sent a group of our sisters out to be educated to work in the hospital. The biggest interesting story is the fact that of our founders, the sisters who were here, and I think there were 50 of them to open up the hospital. And initially, the hospital was run by the sisters. They did everything. They did the bedside work. They did when they started in 1940. They were really all the employees from the hospital here. And then, as the years went on, and more patients came, and more different types of specialties, then we began to hire lay people, and they started to equalize, between the sisters and the lay people.
One of the most interesting stories I've heard, patient stories that I've heard at Nazareth, is a story about a gentleman who was a self-employed printer, and he had been having some health problems, so he was admitted as an inpatient. And they noted when he was admitted that he had some wounds on his feet and stuff like that. Guess what? They found out that he was diabetic. He hadn't known it. And his wounds had progressed to such a point that he was in danger of losing his leg and like below the knee and his entire foot, which would have been really bad for him because he's self-employed as a printer. He needs to be able to use all his limbs. They treated him in our wound care center and with hyperbaric oxygen therapy. And not only did he keep his feet and his leg, he was able to get back to work. He's completely healed. He's mobile. And it was a guy in like his 50s, you know, somebody who was young and vital and had a family depending on him. So that's a great success story that we were able to make such a difference in this man's life. You know, not only did we help treat his health concern, but by treating it and helping him identify and manage his diabetes, we're helping him through the rest of his life. And that has great, great implications. His family's secure now in their income. He can go back to work. You know, I mean, it's he couldn't say enough good things about Nazareth when I talked to him about his story. And those are the kind of things that you feel make it very worth it.
Phone call from one of my former classmates from Temple, and he began with, "Sister, you've got me in trouble with my mother." And I said, "Al, I have, caused a problem for you with your mom." Well, his mother lived right near Nazareth Hospital, and she was a patient of one of our physicians. And at the time she was here, she was impressed with the fact that we have morning and evening prayers said aloud on the loudspeaker. And she said, "You have the opportunity at your own hospital to do this." Well, he happened to work in a non-sectarian hospital at the time, so of course he wasn't able to initiate anything like that. But I felt sorry for Al because he was having a hard time helping his mother understand the difference between his position and what Sister was able to have at Nazareth. And that was not my institution. It was always part of our philosophy here at Nazareth.
As marketing and communications director at Nazareth Hospital, my job is essentially to tell stories about the hospital. Stories about the quality of our care, stories about our national recognition, stories about successful outcomes patients have had, and not just to the external world, patients, potential patients, consumers, but to our physicians, to our staff, to people who are potential referral sources. One of the things that I really try to focus on is making sure the folks here know all the great things that are happening with Nazareth, because they're our ambassadors to the community, and if they can tell a neighbor or a friend about some wonderful thing that's happened here, that's great.
Nazareth Hospital is a family of caregivers dedicated to providing the best possible care to our patients and at the same time addressing the needs of their families.
Nazareth Hospital, to me, is basically a good medical center that provides good service for the people in this area. Over the years, we've done different types of research with the patients here in Northeast Philly. And I think what we realized is that we tried to meet the needs of the community.
Those are the sorts of things that have led to the success we've had in serving our community for 70 years. And I hope we'll be here another 70.